ask us questions and everything.
Well, too, I'd like to give a little shout out to those that already joined and subscribed.
Yes, thank you very much.
After our first episode, that was awesome.
Yep. Thank you.
And by the way, Shane, real quick, we got a sponsor.
Do we have a sponsor?
80s Toys Rock. He's on Instagram and YouTube, and that is rock spelled with a C. So it's 80s Toys Rock, R-O-C. So let's give a shout out to him. He said he'll give us a sponsorship, and hey, thank you, 80s Toys Rock. We love your programming. You know, your content's awesome. Your videos are awesome. So if you guys want to see some good toy hunting videos, go see 80s Toys Rock on YouTube. And again, that's with us.
Then we'll post on our Facebook page. We'll post a link to his YouTube channel.
Definitely.
So you guys can check it out. Very, very good content. It's like a toy hunting vlog. So
it's great.
Even if toys aren't your thing, just go there and watch the vlog. Very entertaining. He does a very good job with his videos, and you can tell he cares about it.
And he posts daily.
Yes, posts daily. So we highly recommend checking him out.
Yeah, definitely go check him out. You guys will enjoy his content. It's fun. It's humorous. He's got his family involved. It's just great. It's just great family-oriented entertainment.
Yes, sir.
So your buddy hasn't come over yet, so you want to just get started on a few things here?
Yes, that sounds good. He just texted me, said he's in the process of joining. So I say let's just get started.
Yeah, we'll get started, and when he joins in, and we'll chat to him.
All right. So when did you start? What made you interested in UFOs? Then I'll share mine.
Well, to be honest with you, is what really got me started interested. I don't know if you remember the old TV show from the 90s called The X-Files.
Yes, I do remember that.
Okay, I was a huge fan. And me and my one buddy actually used to never miss an episode. I forget what nights they were on. I think it might have been Thursday or Friday nights. Never missed an episode. We talked about it all the time. And he always told me they lived out in the country, a trailer out in the country. And he always told me that he felt that he's been abducted by aliens, you know?
Yeah.
So I remember, this is probably, I graduated in 96. That just tells you how old I am. It was in 1996, our senior year. He was in a very bad car accident. Missed his whole senior year. But when he was x-rayed, because he broke some stuff in his jaw, his face, his cheekbones.
Right.
There was a weird little metal chip in his nose.
Well, that is odd.
Very odd. And the doctors didn't even know what it was. It wasn't a fragment of the car or anything. Because where it was at, there was no, cut or anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I remember him telling me about that. And then it was, honestly, probably about a year later, where he lived. His parents had a trailer. They actually had two trailers about 8 feet apart from each other, and it was connected from a hallway between the two living rooms. So it was like a generic double wide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was two separate trailers with just one hallway connecting the living rooms. And I remember sleeping in the living room on the floor in my buddy's trailer and looking across that little hallway that they had built and seeing this bright blue light, okay?
Right.
Now, his mother never slept in the bedroom with her husband because he snored and stuff like that. So she always slept on the couch watching TV. So I woke up, I saw that blue light. I'm like, okay, maybe she's just in there watching TV. And the blue light's from the TV. You know what I mean?
Right. Maybe she fell asleep, just that blue screen back then.
Right, exactly. But the light went away and I got up and I walked into the living room. The TV's off and she's not on the couch sleeping.
Huh.
Now, I've spent many nights at his place and I was there daily visiting. And she never, ever slept in the bedroom.
That's very odd.
That it was a bright blue light too, Shane, like very bright, shining in. And I'm guessing maybe it was coming from the outside. Maybe she got abducted. Then next morning, I mean, this is like 2 a.m. Next morning, I wake up. It's like 7. I get up and she's sleeping on the couch. So that just kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah, that's very weird.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely the X-Files really got me started on the alien abductions and UFO stuff. Because Mulder was always chasing after that.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what really got me into it back in the day. I mean, that's what, 20, almost 30 years ago here, 25 years ago now. So,
I have 2 short stories about my encounters I had. I haven't really had anything too extreme.
Yeah.
But so my first encounter was, I live in Pennsylvania. Hunting's real big around here.
Mm-hmm.
So I shot this deer, and I'm hunting with my dad. We're looking for this deer, tracking the blood and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I probably cover about 75 yards, still tracking it. And I get to the top of a hill, and I look across, and I see these 3 orange balls of light just kind of like hovering above the woods. So I'm like, what in the hell is that? So I start like trying to figure out what could this be, because I'm trying to debunk it.
Right.
There's no way it's, and no airplanes, there's no helicopters.
You don't think they were up in the sky, like not like flashlights on the top of the hill?
No, because it wasn't that dark out yet.
Okay.
It was barely dark. Like the sun just started going down.
Gotcha.
So it was definitely, I feel like the orange was coming from maybe like a light reflecting off of something.
Yeah.
So it's just like they just start hanging out there. So I'm like 14. So I take my phone out, try to snap a picture. But this is like one of those flip phone things. And as I was trying to get a picture, I look up again to make sure they're still there, and they start moving.
Oh, wow.
And they're like moving right behind each other. Next thing you know, they like shoot up in the sky, gone. And to this day, I mean, I consider it a UFO because I have no idea what the hell it was.
Well, yeah, you don't know what it was. I mean, it's an unidentified flying object.
Right. Like, I don't know. I feel like it could have been like an actual alien UFO, but I'm not too sure. It was just like a weird encounter.
Yeah, definitely.
And then my second story was, I was at this one lake around the house, and I was fishing with my one buddy. It was about 2:00 in the morning, and we're like looking out across the lake, just like, I don't know, not much to look at when you're night fishing.
Right.
So we're just like looking across the lake, and this almost like bluish white light rises up out of the lake and just launches up into the sky.
Oh, wow.
Which, that to me, there's like, I think that's almost clear cut, like alien UFO.
Well, how far away do you think that light was?
I'd say how big the lake? The lake is a small lake. I was fishing in the south end of it over by the dam. So, I mean, you don't really see that far because the lake kind of goes off to the left a little bit.
Okay.
So, I mean, my first thought, hey, it's a boat. But then I remembered there was still snow on the ground, and there was a little bit of ice out in the middle. There's no way people are walking across this ice.
Right.
There's no way a boat's going through this ice. So there's no explanation on why this light is on the lake and shot up in the sky.
Wow, that's crazy. Like how big would you describe it, like with your visual eye? Like how big that looked in the sky?
I mean, it looks small. Those orange lights that I first talked about, those were pretty large.
Yeah.
But this light was just a small light, and it just went up in thin air and vanished.
That's crazy.
But yeah, that's my only really 2 encounters with UFOs, and that's what kind of got me interested. Like, what did I just witness? You know?
Well, I got 2 short stories for you. Also, I lived in where would that be? Near Indiana County, PA. And I was outside one night smoking a cigarette on the porch. Can't remember what time it was. It might have been like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. This is in like 1998. And I watched this. I'm not lying, Shane. A disc-shaped light coming across the sky, kind of slow, and it stops, and it was hovering above, and behind us, there was a sheriff that lived behind us, county sheriff. And it was hovering above his house, and I actually took a picture with it with a 35mm camera, but unfortunately, after 25 years, the picture's gone.
Wow.
But it was very bright, and all it was like a light, you know what I mean? But it was like kind of disc-shaped. So I knew it wasn't a star, it wasn't a meteor, because it sat there and hovered above this house, maybe 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet in the air. Fairly large. If you would look at a street lamp from like 10 feet away,
right,
that's about how big it looked, and I was probably about 200 yards away. So, I mean, it was a fairly large craft, I think. I wish I could find that picture. It sucks, though, you know, that long ago you lose stuff like that. And then the latest encounter I had, I was at my mom and dad's near where I live now, and my mom actually told me to tell this story because my mom, dad, and wife were all sitting out by the campfire behind their house, and this fireball was coming straight at us. I mean, it was huge, like the size of the moon looking at it. You know what I mean? Looking at a small moon in the sky, like a full moon, coming right at us very fast. And we're just standing there staring at it, and we're like, what is that? And all of us were just like mystified that we didn't even like grab a camera. Because it took like 20 seconds to get near us, you know, getting bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden it started going up into the air, rising. Because at first I thought it was one of those like Chinese lanterns.
Chinese lanterns, or maybe like a asteroid coming into the orbit or something like that.
But it was like, then it started rising. If it was a Chinese lantern, it would have burned up and then been gone.
Right.
If it caught on fire. But then it started going up and up, and then finally I'm like, oh, I gotta go get my camera, my phone. And by the time I run and get my phone, it's so way up in the air that you could barely see it anymore.
Oh, man.
But it was like, it was weird too, because it looked like it was like, I don't know, almost like dripping flames, you know?
Yeah.
That's what made me thought maybe a Chinese lantern, but it wouldn't have started rising again. It would just burned up and fell to the ground. If it caught on fire, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they're just made out of paper. But yeah, that was one encounter. And my mom was telling me but my mom was like, didn't it have like lights or something on it too? I'm like, I can't remember. Like we were all mystified by it and frozen, like staring at it, like frozen in time almost, you know?
Yeah.
But I think they have that manipulation to like do that to you.
It's possible.
That you can't react. You know what I mean?
Right. I have one short story once again. One time I was really young, and I was over at a buddy's house. We were on the trampoline and stuff at dark.
Yeah.
And we happened to look up, and there's like a saucer object slowly moving right over. No lights or anything. We could maybe we saw it from maybe the street light, but it was just something circle, pretty decent size, and it was just moving real slow. Which I'm not really sure what that was, but that's really the only, as long as the story is, because there's really not much happened after that.
Right. I mean, that's the way it seems like they are. And now that you brought that up, I just thought of another one that happened. I'm going to say end of last summer. I was over at my uncle's farm, and he could vouch for this too if we were to actually talk to him and my cousin, his son. It was just getting dark, maybe a half hour before sunset, you know. The sun was just cresting over the hill. Still pretty light sky. It was still blue sky. we see this white object coming real slow towards us. And I said to my uncle, I'm like, what the heck is that? He looks over, he's like, I don't know, what is that? And we're watching it, it's coming at us, straight at us. It wasn't too high in the sky, a few, 3,000 feet maybe up, lower than an airplane would fly. And we're watching it, and then it's turned to the right. Well, it would have been our left watching it, but it's right. Started going that way, and then boom, it just like disappeared.
Wow.
But it was a solid white object.
Yeah, it always seems like you always see some sort of light, then it just vanishes.
Yeah, and then like again, we couldn't get their cameras. We didn't even think about getting a camera and take a picture of it.
Or right when you're about to make your move to get the camera.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah. Like, where does it go?
Yep. It's crazy, dude. I don't know. So how about the Pentagon, huh?
Yeah, that's very big news.
It's very big news. Going to start releasing footage and
so in case
that
you guys
one in California.
Yeah, in case you guys didn't know, over the last few months, the Pentagon's been releasing news articles. First one was an F-16 fighter or something like that, fighter jet. We'll get with.
Yeah, it scrambled, right?
Yeah, they scrambled, and two pilots actually intercepted what seemed to be like a pill-shaped object going through the sky, which they have no explanation for. So this object would go blazing fast, like faster than any jet could.
Yeah.
And then it would just stop and hover, which it has to be a UFO, or my God, dude, some other country is that far ahead of us in technology that we're screwed,
Right, exactly.
Then the second one they released is, I don't know if you guys saw it, the night vision of the triangle.
Yep. Pyramid shaped one, yeah.
Yeah. And that one went about, I forget the ship, but it was a battleship, and it just like hovered about 600 to 700 feet above the battleship.
Yeah, the naval ship, yeah. That was in California, right?
Yeah, just off the shore of California.
Yeah, off the harbor there for the naval harbor, whatever it's called over there.
Yeah, probably off, I don't know, maybe out of San Diego or something. Not too
right.
Sure. But yeah, that's pretty compelling. And then I saw that in June they're going to be preparing to release a statement, which I don't know if the statement's going to be like one page, like another run in with them.
Right.
Or I think they could be releasing like the Roswell, all like the 1950s and 1960s documents.
Right.
Because eventually, the government's known to do that.
After 50 years or so,
after 50 years, they declassify stuff. And usually the stuff they declassify is pretty insane.
Yeah.
That you couldn't even think of.
It kind of sucks, though, that they don't declassify all info, because you'll see documents that are stuff that's blacked out.
Yeah.
It's what's the blacked out stuff?
For example, recent, a few years ago with the whole Hitler incident, where they never had a positive ID on them.
Right.
They just released that document not too long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to get pretty interesting here. I mean, I feel like they're building us up to really introduce us, because we went from nothing to 2 Pentagon released footage.
Right.
What was it, 3 or 4 months? It definitely seems like they're leading us up to confirm,
to break the news.
To break the news. Aliens are real, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because we're just taking baby steps right now.
Well, yeah, they probably think we can handle it now because of all the movies and stuff, Yeah.
I
mean, people are loving Star Wars and Mandalorian. All right, well, we got these type of aliens, so let's go ahead and see if we can introduce this, because people are all into it now,
Yeah, and plus, I don't know that many people that don't really believe in them. I mean,
yeah. Even my dad, he wasn't a believer for years until he watched Ancient Aliens on History Channel.
Right.
Now he's like, yeah, they're real.
Yeah, like everybody kind of already knows they're real, so I don't really know what
Mm-hmm.
they're waiting for, in my opinion.
And there's so much footage, like everywhere you go, YouTube, TikTok, everything. I know things can be manipulated now with CG, but I think a lot of these older videos I watch, it looks like they're taken by VHS. If you guys don't know what VHS is, it was a tape deck in like the 80s and 90s before DVDs. But just old footage from like the 90s and 80s and 70s, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the next step, since they released those two, would be the Roswell crash.
Yeah.
Isn't that what kind of like got people wondering?
That started it all right there. Area 51 in Roswell.
That's what I thought. When was
No,
Area 51 founded? Do you know that information?
I do not. That's something I'll have to look up. But it was before the Roswell crash. Area 51 existed. I do know that.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
However, supposedly though, the crash from Roswell was not sent to Area 51. It was sent to a base in Ohio.
Really?
An Air Force base in Ohio. Yes.
Wonder if that is there. I know there's one out by Dayton, and then there's one close to Youngstown too.
I think it's Dayton. Military Air Force Base over in Dayton.
Which that actually has a museum on it now.
Exactly, with all the old aircraft from like World War I to modern.
Yeah, which I actually visited that not too many years ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, if you guys haven't been out there, I highly recommend going out to visit if you like history and stuff. It's really cool.
Well, my wife's dad, my father-in-law, Joe, he was in the Air Force in Vietnam. I told you about that.
Right.
And he was a scoutmaster, and he took, his son Joe was in the scouts. He actually became an Eagle Scout, which is awesome. But they went out there to that museum, and like Joe tells me, like my brother-in-law Joe tells me about it all the time. Like, you got to go out there. And even her dad said, if you ever get a chance, go out there, because they let them on the planes, and like some planes.
Yeah, like I got to walk on JFK's Air Force One.
Nice.
Like, I mean, they have a bunch of it closed off, but they have plexiglass blocking all the relics. But they let you walk like right through the pathway and stuff. It's real cool.
Yeah, I believe they like took the kids on and the Boy Scouts like on a V-17 bomber from World War II or something like that,
Yeah.
And let them like walk through it and check everything out.
So leading that, so we were at the museum. They had one of those Blackbird, like what is it, V2 U2 spy plane?
The spy plane, yeah.
Which I was just reading that was invented at Area 51.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand how we went from
biplane.
Yeah, we go from frickin' I don't even know, dude.
Like, I think that was built in like the 50s, I believe.
Like, what was the technology like back then? Like, you have frickin' like there's no cell phones or anything.
Well, barely at the end of the war, we like the Germans had jet planes midway, like at the end of World War II, and we didn't start really having jet planes until after World War II.
Right. So, I mean, I don't understand how we can jump that fast technology.
Right.
I feel like there had to be some
alien technology involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was state of the art. Like, how the heck do you go from nothing to that? Like, that's one hell of a jump.
Yeah. I actually think that U-2 may have been built in like either 52 or 55. The U-2 spy plane, which could fly at like 60,000 feet, 300 some miles per hour.
Yeah, and those guys wore almost like astronaut suits.
Exactly. Because they flew so high.
I'm looking it up real quick. Just want to confirm.
Yeah, let's confirm that.
I don't want to be giving no false information.
Right. When was the U-2 spy plane invented?
It says first ever built was known as the Dragon Lady, has been in service since 1956.
Okay. Well, I was close. I said 55.
55 a prototype flew in 1955.
Yeah, and then they had their test pilots fly it, which was a very dangerous job.
Yeah, like
I mean, it's a brand new aircraft. It was like, go ahead and jump in it and see what it does. Okay. It might not work at all. You might fall out of the sky. We don't know, but go ahead and try it.
Right.
But that's awesome.
But yeah, I don't understand like how we jump that fast.
Oh yeah, and like, well, I think I spoke to you before about how Eisenhower, when he was president, supposedly was at like a conference, presidential conference thing in California, and they rushed him out to go to Denver. And there's a secret airfield base in Denver too, and supposedly he went to meet with a ship, an alien spacecraft, and went on board and was on for hours, and then came back out.
Really?
Yes. And supposedly the theory is, I'm going to call it a conspiracy theory, is he made a deal with the gray aliens. Everybody knows about the grays, right? The ones that abduct people. That they're allowed to abduct so many people a year and also do those like cattle mutilations and trade for technology. And then all of a sudden, bam, what happens? We got these awesome jets.
That is very compelling.
We got invisible aircraft like the stealth bomber, stealth fighter.
All right. So my another one of my arguments is, so the Korean War was raging at that time.
Yes.
We saw World War II airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you guys ever watched the TV show MASH. We had like basically shitty helicopters back then.
Right. The little bubble ones.
Yeah, the like little pieces of shit that just like you're like, I would not climb in that, you know what I mean? But I just don't understand how we go from World War II airplanes to like go flying into orbit, basically. Like, because that's basically how far up they are.
Well, even think about too, Shane. The helicopter wasn't even like, I mean, they might have had prototypes, but nothing really worked till Korea, till the 50s.
Right.
Now we got what? The Apache and the Cobra that's got all this stealth technology, night vision. You can hit a target 10 miles away with a rocket. You know, it's insane. And I think the stealth technology is one of the biggest things we got from the aliens.
I agree.
But they can cloak themselves. Their aircraft, you know that, right?
Yes,
they can look like a cloud, or they can just disappear completely.
I think they can shapeshift, like
the
little pill thing that the ship saw off the coast of San Diego or California or whatever it was.
Yep.
I believe they can make themselves smaller so they don't stand out, because they're gonna, if people would see and start freaking out, if my God, like a giant ass pill started flying through the sky.
Well, since you're able to like do some research, look up the Battle of Los Angeles. I think it was in 1945.
Yeah, isn't that when the military shot at
alien spacecraft out over this Pacific Ocean?
But those guys said it was a freaking military blimp. Like, my God.
Yeah, balloon or something like that, yeah.
I hope to God our military is and like...
Yeah, let's open up fire with everything we got for nothing, for a balloon.
Yeah, like, come on now. Like, I don't feel like those men are that stupid to be doing that.
Exactly. You hear any word from Robert?
There's no update yet. He might be joining us later. We'll see.
Okay. Well, maybe send him out another invite and see what he does.
Another topic I'd like to jump into is we don't even know if all these aliens that are out there visiting are hostile or not. I mean, everything we know about aliens comes from Hollywood. And we know Hollywood's a bunch of bullshit anyway.
Yeah, Independence Day. Great movie, though, but just...
Yeah, like, it's all these aliens slaughtering innocent people.
Right.
To come back, like, alien abductions are really the only thing.
Right.
You know, like, that's the only thing they got. Like, who says that these people are, like, who says aliens are hostile?
I don't believe they all are.
But even like the Greys, if they abduct people, they always put them back. It isn't like they just go missing.
Yeah, but
maybe in a
those
couple
people
cases.
have terrible experiences.
Yeah, I understand that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think they're all hostile.
Right.
Like, yeah, like we're all terrified of them because Hollywood, and that's what was drilled into our head to be scared of them.
Right.
But there's
Exactly.
no physical proof, in my opinion, that they are hostile.
I don't agree all 100% are.
I mean, I feel like they could be. I mean, let's be honest. The
We
technology
can
they
be
have,
too.
we're like a freaking ant.
Oh yeah.
They could wipe us out if they wanted to. So I mean, we can't really be hostile towards them. What the hell are they gonna? What are we gonna do?
Right. Oh, like we spoke about. I don't know if we spoke about it in the last episode or not, or just could have been a conversation we had on the phone. Just look at our world. Not everybody's hostile, but other people in our world are.
That is
Other
true.
countries are. You know.
Yeah.
Just the same as I think with other planets. You know, aliens from other galaxies or dimensions, even universes. There's good and there's bad. That's just the way the cycle of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like in this, like in the human world, you're either good or you're a piece of shit.
Right.
I imagine
Exactly.
I mean, anywhere you go, I think that applies to anywhere.
Yep.
On Earth, we're 6 billion light years away.
Right. It's just amazing though that these like other species of these different worlds and planets and universes can travel that far in seconds through like wormholes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or like maybe even black holes.
What's your opinions on Mars? Do you think Mars is holding alien life?
I think Mars is actually, in my opinion, I think we're on Mars already.
Really? Can you go into more
Like
depth
as a
about that?
colony almost. I really do. It could just be a conspiracy, but I mean, like I said, with technology today, with CG and all that crap, but I've seen videos on YouTube with the Mars rover being all dirty, like it's like solar panels are covered in dirt, and then the next day it's all cleaned, and there's like I saw one video there was like a shadow. It looked like a man wearing like kind of like a space helmet, not like the original like astronaut one, but like a mask, like he was cleaning it.
Yeah.
And there's been other videos I've seen where there's like if you do like you know how you do Google Earth,
Right.
if you do Google Mars, you can do Google Moon, whatever. There's actually looks like there's buildings, like structures built there, like man-made structures. Are they us? Because I know they talked about maybe 10 years ago getting a group up to colonize Mars in 2020.
Did you see the breaking news today?
Oh, no, I did not.
So it says NASA rover turns a tiny bit of Mars air into breathable oxygen.
That's another thing I wanted. I'm glad you brought that up, Shane, because if you actually watch pictures of the rover, Mars has an atmosphere.
Right.
It's not a red planet. It's green. I mean, it's like a desert planet. Like if you go to Arizona, there's green, there's blue. I mean, it's got color to it. It's not the red planet like they made us believe in school. You know?
Right. Then
And now you just said breaking news: the Mars rover found breathable air.
Yeah, this was updated 4 hours ago.
That's insane.
So that means they produced breathable air from the air or whatever the hell you call it on Mars.
Yeah, I think it has too much nitrogen in it because our oxygen's like oxygen and nitrogen.
The way I understand it is they kind of made like a filter device and it came out to breathable oxygen that humans can survive.
Interesting.
So that's like groundbreaking.
Well, that's part of that new rover they just put on there about 3 or 4 months ago.
Yes, that is what it did. And then
Yeah.
there's also kind of like a helicopter on there too.
Well, do you know how big that rover is that they sent there?
No,
The newest one, the size of an SUV.
really.
I thought these rovers were like these little tiny, like 2 foot by 2 foot little robots on tracks, but it's the size of a freaking SUV. And that's true. I saw that on Fox News. They talked about it, about the size of it. It's the size of an Explorer or a Suburban. You know what I mean? That's huge.
That is big.
Did you think they were that big?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I figured the size of like a box or a tote, you know. And it got there. I don't know. It only took a couple months.
But they do say there's some sort of like bacteria or something living on there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much the only life that they found.
Yeah, well, I remember, I don't know how long ago, this might have been 15, 20 years, when that meteor from Mars came, hit the Earth, and then they found like fossilized worms, like parasites and worms. You remember that?
Yes.
It's been many years, but that was the only life, alien life form from another planet. But I think I've seen Mars rover videos that NASA forgot to blank out, and it looks like some kind of like armadillo type of creature or a lizard, like hanging out on a rock, you know. I believe Mars was inhabited at one point, and it might have got too close to the sun. So now only these like certain animals and creatures can survive on it.
That is true. That is possibility.
I was actually talking to my brother the other day about aliens and UFOs, and he said at one point in time, the planets were so close together that you could see everything. Okay.
Yeah.
That's like the ancient Aztecs and the Mayans. They have drawings of Saturn with its rings. Like how could they know without a telescope? But they were so close at one point. You know the Grand Canyon?
Yes.
So it got carved out by the Colorado River, right?
Yeah.
Over millions of years. Well, the theory was that there was like the planets started getting closer and closer, and there's an electrical discharge, and it blew up and sent all the planets flying out because Mars actually has a similar Grand Canyon canyon. You
There's
have to
also
check that out.
Yeah, we cut out a little bit there, but continue. I hear you now.
So Mars actually has a similar Grand Canyon on its surface. Because
Really?
when the planets got too close, there's a giant electrical discharge that caused our Grand Canyon. Do you really believe the Colorado River carved out a mile deep canyon? When there's been rivers is just as old, and what are they, eroded like 5-10 feet?
Yeah, but I don't know. It all depends on the flooding.
Yeah, but the Colorado River ain't that big, really. I mean, it's a big river, but it ain't that big. But I don't know what kind of stone it's cutting through. Is it limestone or, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, but the theory is there was electrical discharge, and that's what caused the Grand Canyon.
I'm looking it up right now here. It's limestone, so yeah, I do believe the river.
Yeah, it could eat through pretty quick.
Limestone is not that.
No, it's very soft.
So yeah, I do believe that the Colorado
River
was carved
over a million years. I'm just saying that's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
But it is still weird that like the Aztecs and the Mayans had actual drawings of Saturn's rings. Like, how could they see them? Did they have the alien technology that they had telescopes, or did the aliens come down and tell them, "Hey, that one planet up there, see that star? Yeah, it's got rings around it. This is what it looks like." Because they believe like the Egyptians and the Aztecs and the Mayans, which they don't exist anymore, they're gone, actually had aliens come down and more or less they're gods, you know.
Yeah. How about last year whenever Egypt tried to like cover up Elon Musk claims about the pyramids?
What do you say about it?
Elon Musk believes the pyramids were built by aliens, and Egypt officials kind of got like pissed off at him, and they got like all offended.
Oh yeah, because the cutting of the stone is completely straight, like it was cut by like a saw or lasers. They said, and it fit perfectly together. And the stone they were getting was like what, a 500 miles away or something like that. The stone to build the pyramids.
Yeah.
It's like, how did they get it there?
I have no idea. I just know probably a lot of slave labor if it was actually built like that.
Right, that's what they claim. Like,
but it isn't like they had diesel powered cranes to lift that
no.
stuff.
They had a theory I saw on a show, like, oh, they rolled these stones on logs. It's like, yeah, but they built it in like, well, I guess it took like 500 years to build it or something, didn't it? 200 years or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe, I mean, that's a lot of labor.
I don't know. It's just something to think about. Like, I don't know. Like, you know?
Well, I always wanted to check out the book Chariots of the Gods. It talks about more or less like ancient aliens. And the Chariots of the Gods were like UFOs, and it was all about like hell. They helped build the pyramids. Even what's that one in Ireland? You're Irish, right?
I'm Scottish.
What's the one in Ireland with the stones that are stacked? The Druid stones.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. How they're all placed.
Yeah, like how do they lift these like 15-ton stones on top? And they're supposedly like hundreds of thousands of years old. I could be wrong, probably on my timeline. But I am curious to see what the government is going to unfold here in the next couple months, dude. I think we're going to see a lot more stuff on UFOs and aliens and everything like that.
Yeah, I feel like they're leading us up to confirming.
Yeah. Without putting the public in a panic.
Yeah, like that's their goal.
Well, how cool would it be to like wake up one day and Fox News got an alien race up there talking to us through like an interview? You know,
it would definitely be really. I think the world would still go into panic.
It would be mind blowing.
But I think that's recent events we got covered there.
Right. No word on Robert?
No word.
I don't think he's going to join us tonight.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it either. We'll get him on here in the future.
Well, we'll give him a shout out. What's his name on TikTok?
TikTok, his name is Simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
He makes gaming content. It's really worth a check out. He's small channel trying to grow, kind of like we are.
Right. Yeah, I looked at some of his videos, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm not a big gamer myself, but I still enjoy gaming. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So you still able to hear me? Shane. Hello. Well, I think we lost Shane there for a minute. He might have a bad connection. It looks like he's still connected. He's not responding. So I'll just give a quick shout out to our followers and thank you again for following. And thank you for our sponsor, 80s Toys Rock. That's spelled ROC. 80s Toys Rock with a C. If Shane can get back to us, that'd be pretty cool. I think we lost him, folks, but enjoying having you listen tonight. And we'll see what's going on. Oh, Shane just texted leaving.